We have plenty of ranked-on-ranked college football action ahead for Week 11. One of the SEC on CBS games of the week. We have Bama and Oxford taking on Ole Miss. That should be a good one. We have 22 UCF at 17 Tulane. Washington at Oregon, with Oregon favored there at 13 points. And then TCU, number 4, at 18 Texas. And let's welcome in Jon Berger to give us his spotlight picks for these matchups and potentially making us some money. Fingers crossed, Jon. So we're talking about number 4 TCU on the road in Austin against Texas. The Longhorns are 7-point favorites. The over-under 65. Jon, do you got a lock on this matchup?
Yeah, I do. TCU's having one of those magical kind of seasons, and anybody that goes through a conference title, especially coming into the preseason, nobody thought TCU, including myself, was going to be a contender in the Big 12. They've had a magical season. They earned it. This is a team behind Max Duggan at the quarterback position that has shown an ability to come back, handle sudden change, handle those difficult moments, win their ball games. And it's one of those situations where you just look at this team. They're very fortunate to be where they're at. This has Big 12 title implications. They can capture the Big 12 title, obviously playoff implications. So this team is operating with a little dose of magic right now. You look at Texas on that side of the football. A lot of people are looking at this matchup. The spread is a little confusing to a lot of people, and I understand why. What I will tell you is this, and having been around the Big 12 for a long time and having been around Sarkisian and been around the TCU program, I think this is a situation where Texas lines up and runs the football right at that TCU defense with Bijan Robinson, probably the top back in all of college football in the Power 5, went for 206 last week. Over 1,400 yards rushing so far, number 2 in the nation. Big offensive line. I don't think this is a situation where Steve Sarkisian is going to ask Quinn Ayers to do a bunch. In fact, I think it's very apparent that they're going to ask him, please just don't turn the football over. Let's be smart with the football. We got the best back in college football. Let's run right at TCU. I think this is a situation at home. I think Texas can get it done. I think they can cover the points. I think TCU has a remarkable season so far. A lot of respect for that program, certainly what Max Duggan's done. Their ability to come back, their ability to really handle adversity and sudden change. I just think in this situation, Texas has a lot to play for. This is a situation where they can line up with that big running back, Bijan Robinson, run right at TCU. I think they can get this done. I'm taking Texas to cover the points.
All right, and Jon, moving on to a big matchup in the Pac-12, 25 Washington at 6 Oregon. Last week, Washington defeating Oregon State. Now, the Ducks, though, they're 6-0 in the Pac-12 play for the first time since 2019. They're favored at -13. Jon, what's your play on this one?
I underestimated Oregon a couple times. What you'll learn about this Oregon team when you dig into the numbers, this is a very different team at home versus being on the road. And you may be saying to yourself, well, duh, that's true of every college program. That's not the case. There's a dramatic difference between this team, how they play at home versus the road. Bo Nix can be a phenomenal quarterback at times. Sometimes you don't really know what you're going to get, and he can be inconsistent. This number is a big number for me. In fact, I don't like in conference matchup, this is a rivalry game, to accept that kind of number, and it scares me. But what I will tell you is Oregon is 4-0 against the spread at home this year, and Washington's 0-3 against the spread on the road. So that makes you tip your eye a little bit and really scratch your head. So I also would tell you that Oregon's one of these offenses, they're virtually guaranteed to score 40 points. They've done it 8 out of the last 9. And Bo Nix, he plays different at home as a quarterback. He's very mobile. He's athletic. He can get the ball downfield, and more so over the last 4 weeks. He's been running the football, and you can see the numbers right there. This is an offense that's humming right now. Washington on the other side of the ball, probably the best pass offense of all of college football. You look at yards per game, completions across the board. This is the best passing offense, or one of the top 5 across the board. That said, I think you're going to see Oregon surge in this game. I don't like this big number. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. I think Oregon's be able to get it done behind that big play offense. I think you're going to see Bo Nix get loose, create, improvise, convert on some third downs, create some big plays. And I think Oregon covers this number. I know it's big. I don't like it. Small bet, but I'm going to take Oregon to cover these numbers.
All right, and Jon, we do want to preview one of our SEC on CBS games of the week, which brings us to our home field segment presented by Verbo. Number 9, Alabama going into yet another hostile environment in Oxford to take on 11 Ole Miss. Now, John, we've seen Bama struggle on the road before. Both losses this season were road games, Tennessee, LSU. The atmosphere in Oxford, the Grove, I've heard it's absolutely insane. So it should be just as rowdy, right? So how much does the Rebels' home field advantage, John, play a factor here with you and your pick?
You know what, Jacqueline, the Grove, first of all, let me comment on the Grove, and it is phenomenal, and that place rocks, and it's the only place in America for a tailgating section. It kind of has a unique aroma. It kind of smells like some combination of Chanel No. 5 and Jack Daniels, and it goes like that.
What a combo.
and I'm telling you, it's a fun place to go have a party. And hopefully I characterized that and didn't offend anybody correctly, but I love being there. Been there a handful of times. It's a fun place to be. You mentioned it earlier. This is Bama team. This is a team that's very different on the road. And I think back to last year, and I think back to Florida, which is a game they barely won. Took them 4 overtimes at Auburn to get out of there. I think back to the loss at Texas A&M. I think at Texas A&M this year, they only beat A&M by 4. I think Texas they beat by 1. So you can see kind of a track record over a 12 to 18-month period of time. This is not a team that plays great on the road. However, this is a team that's covered 5 in a row off a straight-up loss. And that caused me to pause a little bit. And I think this is a situation where Bama's sitting here with 2 losses. Everybody's counting them out. You hear all the press and everybody talking about the dynasty's over. They can't make the playoff. Woe is me. I think Bama, I think the hair on the back of their neck stands up. I think they roll in here. I think they get this done. I think they cover this number. I think they need to make a statement, and this football team is sick and tired of the season that they've had already. You look at Ole Miss offensively. This offensive line is no joke, Jacqueline. They got some dudes up front at the point of attack. That's going to be the key matchup. Can Bama's defense match up with the offensive line from Ole Miss, because they're going to have to protect their quarterback to get the ball downfield on those big plays. If Bama can create some pressure, if they can make the quarterback uncomfortable, change his launch point, they don't have to get to the quarterback and sack him, just get him off his mark. I think this is a situation where Bama rolls up with an attitude. It's going to be a fun game to watch with Lane Kiffin. He's going to open up that offense. It's bombs away. But I think, despite the number being this big, I think Bama's sick of all the negativity. I think they roll in there. I think they cover the number, probably on a late score in the fourth quarter.
And Lane Kiffin 0-3 all-time versus Nick Saban, so we'll have to see if he can turn things around. Maybe not. Okay, John, a big game in the American Athletic Conference. We have 22 UCF at 17 Tulane. Now, the Knights, they have 1 conference loss, while Tulane, they're undefeated in conference play. So who do you like for this one, John?
You know, Tulane is an interesting story. They've been playing great all season, which is a little bit odd considering what I thought they would do coming into the season. But this is a team that's 8-1 against the spread this year. Anybody that's in the betting market, you've made a lot of money if you follow Tulane. UCF, on the other hand, you look at them offensively, I think it's going to be too much offense. They're top 3 in points per game, yards per game, chunk plays over 20 yards. This is an offense that can explode. They can get the ball downfield. They can test your one-on-one matchups. They can create mismatch with your linebackers when they go to that short passing game. I just think when I look at this number, I'm going to take UCF. I'm getting points, and I'm going to do it behind that offense. Again, Tulane's led by their defense. I just don't think offensively they're going to be able to gash UCF for enough points. I'm going to take UCF in the points in this situation. I'm doing it behind that offense.
Okay, and really quickly, John, in 30 seconds, give us your best college football pick for the weekend.
I'm going to take Notre Dame to cover this number. It's a big number with Navy. Understand that Notre Dame's won 9 out of the last 10 in this series, but they're only 5-5 against the spread. Causes you to pause a little bit. But as I look at these two teams' matchups, I think it's just going to be an overwhelming disadvantage for Notre Dame on both offensive and defensive line. They've played this triple option. They know what's coming at them. I think in this situation, it's a safe bet, best bet. I think you can take Notre Dame safely to cover this number.
All right, that is Jon Berger giving us his best bets for Week 11 in college football. Getting a recap of John's picks. He likes Texas there at -7. He's taking Oregon. He's taking Bama on the road against number 11 Ole Miss, and then UCF at Tulane. He is taking UCF and going with the Knights. And remember, we have an SEC on CBS doubleheader this week. Missouri at number 5 Tennessee. That's at 12 Eastern. And then in the 3:30 slate, number 9 Alabama hitting the road, heading to Oxford, taking on number 11 Ole Miss. Of course, you can watch all of that action on CBS and also streaming on Paramount Plus.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.